Good evening, dear viewer, and welcome to Current Issue. With me tonight, the Mayor of Farmington Hills, Mr. Ken Casey.
Massey.
Mr. Massey, welcome to MEA. And with us again, the Chief of Police of Farmington Hills, Chuck Nebus. Did I pronounce
Nebus,
it?
yes,
Nebus.
right on.
Well, welcome to MEA.
Thank you.
Thank you. As the Farmington Hills, I look at Farmington Hills, one of the city, honestly, it kept in good condition, the road, the houses, the neighborhood, the school. Tell us, Mr. Mayor, about the city of Farmington Hills and give us an idea. You're talking to a nationwide audience. Give us an idea about Farmington Hills and what's the...
I would be pleased to do that. Farmington Hills has been a city for 43 years now. We became officially a city on July the 1st, 1973. Formerly, we were the township of Farmington. We encompass geographically about 34 square miles.
Okay. Population?
With that, a population a little over 82,000 people. We have some of the, on a business side, we have some of the largest companies with North American headquarters here in the state of Michigan because our geographical location has us very close to Metro Airport.
Yes.
So it's an easy place to get to do business. So companies like Akebono and Nissan, Panasonic, Bosch, and there are a number of others that have their North American headquarters here.
That's good.
The citizens have a very broad spectrum. One of the things that always impresses me, a broad spectrum of folks that we have here. If you talk to the schools, they will tell you there are 102 different languages spoken in the schools.
Wow.
And we are a very inclusive community. From a population perspective, we are about 31% minority. And that covers from that factoid with
Yes.
the schools, lots and lots of different folks, and we celebrate that.
Great. Chief, as the mayor said, you have a lot of headquarters for top corporate America. And those people, they don't come to the city unless the safety, it's there. They have to feel comfortable in the city so they could put their headquarters. Tell us more about the condition of the safety, the state of the safety for Farmington Hills.
I'm very proud to serve as a police chief in one of the safest cities in Michigan. For some of your viewers outside the state, we're located just northwest of Detroit, a large metropolitan area. And we're known as one of the safest cities in the state. There's about 7 or 8 research companies that do safe city rankings every year, and we're usually near the top in every one of those polls. They use slightly different methods, but we're always near the top. And I'm very pleased to be able to share that in the last few years, our record all-time lows in crime. Some of the bad news we hear today, I'm able to proudly deliver great news. Last year we had the lowest in city history, the lowest number of auto thefts, the lowest number of burglaries.
Great.
The lowest number of auto thefts.
How big is your department?
We're actually the 11th largest city police department in the state of Michigan. And the officers are well trained. They do a great job. We've won a lot of awards. We're very, very proud and honored to serve our community, and very proud of the safe city rankings that we obtain, especially if you consider we serve a very large population. We're part of a large metropolitan area, have several colleges and high schools, so it's really a source of pride.
I see. Mr. Mayor, we know the cutting in the budget, it's everywhere, and especially the schools and the service that you give to the citizen of Farmington Hills. How you cope with that? Is it affecting the schools, the school district? Is it affecting the service that you give to the citizen?
Well, I would be remiss if I said no, there were absolutely zero changes. But with my administration and our city council, as well as those that have preceded us, we've attacked the budgetary issues just like every other issue. We try and hit it in a very straightforward manner. That said, when budgets were starting to be reduced, property values were dropping, which of course, then leads to lower revenues coming into the city.
Absolutely, yeah.
We made the necessary cuts. Those were not always easy, but our employees worked with us to support us. The community also understood that we had to change some things. We cut as many non-essential services as we possibly could and focused on those things that make us a good, strong community, such as our police department, our fire department, our DPW, those essential
How
city
about the school
services.
district? Did it get affected? Did you have some closing or?
So to move to the school districts, and just for perfect clarity, the school board is a separately elected organization, and their challenges, along with the city's challenges, are related to decreases in funding as well as a decrease in census. Their student census has actually been dropping, and part of that is because our community provides great services for its residents, including our senior residents, and folks, when their kids move out, our citizens often decide to stay within the community. So we're seeing a transition in the demographics of the community in terms of age. And I just wanted to add one thing to something the chief said. One of the reasons we are a safe city is because those citizens who are here, unlike many communities where you've heard that there are issues and tensions
Yes.
between the citizens and the police department.
Yes, and that's what I'm gonna
And our
ask you,
police
yeah.
department
Yeah.
is well supported by our citizenry and vice versa. So I think that all of those have combined to do great things for our people. And on the financial side, we're one of the only cities in the state of Michigan that retains a AAA bond rating.
Great.
Because we've made the right decisions over time to deal with those financial challenges.
Yeah, Chief Nebs, you are surrounded by many cities, and sad to say, the city of Detroit, the crime, it's increasing every day and all that. And is that affecting your city? Because, you know, some way, somehow, those criminal in Detroit and or surrounding bad area, they're gonna come to the suburbs. How you are working with other cities around you to keep those criminal out of Farmington Hills and out of the city that surround you?
Well, one of the ways we do that is with consortium units. Farmington Hills has a reputation of working with other agencies. We have Farmington Hills police officers who are assigned to Oakland County narcotics team, an Oakland County auto theft team. We have 3 personnel who are assigned to Drug Enforcement Administration, drug task forces, you know, that work out of Detroit. We have something called the SONIC, the South Oakland Narcotics Intelligence Consortium. We pool officers between West Bloomfield, Farmington Hills, Novi, Oakland County Sheriff's Department, and the DEA. So we all work together. An example might be a few years ago we had a homicide of a Middle Eastern businessman, and within 24 hours we had 60 to 70 police officers, you know,
From
working
different
on that
agencies
case,
and-
all from.
Great.
We had auto theft,
Great.
even though it was a homicide. We had auto theft team. We had drug enforcement
Great.
people, you know, all working on that case. So we share, we meet, we host. Farmington Hills and hosts intelligence meetings for area departments. So it's very important, and we like to think also that our reputation keeps some criminals out of the community. And the reason I can say that is because some of them we've arrested tell us that. When they see, even though we've had budget cuts as well, like the mayor had talked about, the one thing we haven't cut is uniformed personnel in the street. So we have high visibility, and I think that's also a deterrent for people that may be just wandering around from other communities, you know, looking to commit crime. If they see a lot of police cars, they're going to be moving on perhaps for a bit.
Great. Mr. Mayor, as you mentioned, in Farmington Hills there is over 100 different language. That's mean it's multipart of so many ethnic minority. But let's talk about the Middle Eastern, because majority of the people who watch us today is Middle Eastern.
Certainly.
How is do you have a good population of Middle Eastern community? Do you have a business who own by the Middle Eastern American community? And how is the relation of the city with those as a resident and as a business?
Well, we certainly embrace our Middle Eastern residents, and we do have representatives from every country in the world that live here, and particularly we have a number of businesses that are owned, a lot of entrepreneurial activities that take place that are owned by folks that are Middle Eastern
Yes.
descent. And we work with them just the way we work with every other resident
Great.
in this community. We try and make it a community that really is helpful. We don't want to stand in the way of new businesses. In fact, we try.
Are you pro-businesses? Are you inviting more business to come to Farmington also?
We are certainly inviting more businesses.
Right.
We have an economic development director. His name is Kalfani Stevens, who works for us and works as a liaison with the state, county officials, and other cities to bring in more businesses, to show the great side of being a business here in Farmington Hills. We work very tightly with our sister city, which is Farmington, and that was the city of historic origin that Farmington Township and then Farmington Hills grew up with. We also have a very strong Chamber of Commerce, the Greater Farmington Area Chamber of Commerce.
Right.
So Kalfani works to recruit businesses and help get them started in our community, and the Chamber of Commerce works to help retain those businesses and keep them connected.
Great. Chief Nebus, we talk about the ethnic minority, we talk about the Middle Eastern community, and each ethnic minority, they have their own culture. They all, custom how to deal with people and all that. In your department, do you reflect, your department reflect the population? Do you have people from ethnic minority part of your department? And do you have some educational program to an average American police officer, how to deal with ethnic minority? Not just the Middle Eastern, but all the ethnic minority.
Well, we're always trying to recruit from the minority populations. We think we've done a very good job. In the Middle Eastern community, we have 3 Middle Eastern police officers. We have 1 police officer from the Asian Indian community.
Great.
And we have a Middle Eastern police service aide that was just hired about 3 or 4 months ago. So we're doing well. We could always do better. We're always working on that outreach. We go to college fairs and anywhere that we can to do recruiting with any groups. And for the education of our officers, we're doing an awful lot. We have officers who go through in small groups of training throughout the year, and as part of their 40-hour training week, we always have different cultural diversity components and classes built in. We try to, because we have so many cultures represented in our community, we try to select different cultures to make the officers familiar with the customs.
Right.
So they make sure that they don't offend, so they can be friendly, so they can be well connected and received. And something else we're doing a little differently is we're about the 11th police department in the state of Michigan. We do interactive computer-based training, and what that consists of is when officers report for duty, a couple times a month they receive assignments on specific subjects. They have to go in. Part of it is cultural diversity training topics as well. They go in, they watch a video, they have to take a test. It goes on it's graded and it goes on their test and training records. So it's just another way that we're supplementing even the live training that we do.
Great. I talked to Oakland County Sheriff Michael Bashar, and he said, we're getting hard time recruiting officers. Do you have this problem? Are you recruiting more officers? Are you interested to recruit more from those ethnic minority?
Yes, to answer your question, yes, like all law enforcement agencies, we're having trouble recruiting.
Okay.
We are always looking for more minority representation. One of the things that's a little different is if you rewind back many years ago, we used to rent auditoriums at Oakland Community College, and we would test 1,000 people at a time for a couple of positions. And now we have a handful of applications for the same position.
Right.
So times have changed. Being a police officer is not very popular, in America right now.
Oh,
And it's a difficult,
Very sadly.
job. It's the only
Yeah.
profession that I'm aware of that
Yes.
there's an expectation from many members of the public that we are perfect. And I'm not a perfect chief, and there's not perfect police officers, and we do our best because we have high standards, and society should expect us to be a cut above.
Yeah. Mr. Mayor, do you attend a function of ethnic minority. I mean, myself, I seen you and a lot of function of our Middle Eastern community. And honestly, we appreciate that from you, because attending those functions, talking to their issue and talking to their need and understand it will help a lot, get the communication, build those bridges between your office, the chief's office, and the community.
I absolutely do attend as many events as I possibly can. Time is my limiting factor.
Yes.
It's not that we don't have events that we can go to, but I try and make sure that I hit as many as we possibly can. And the chief, myself, the city manager, and all of the directors of the departments in our city try to attend these events. You asked the question about sensitivity training for
Yes.
our police department.
Yes.
I'd like to add to that.
And you know what? I want to ask you the same thing. Is your office reflect the community? Go ahead, please.
The
go
staff
ahead.
within the city of Farmington Hills certainly does reflect our community.
Okay, great.
And we continue to try and make sure that we do that. We want to stay up with our community, and we want people to come in when they have work or dealings with the city, that they are comfortable and that people are sensitive to the issues. One of the topics I was going to bring up is for the community at large. We have something is called the Multicultural, Multiracial Community Council. That's been in place since 1993.
Okay.
And it has representation from both the city of Farmington and Farmington Hills, as well as the school district. And that group hosts events like Heritage Week, where we're trying to also embrace the heritage of the residents and bring people together to celebrate those. And those have been done over the years, and I think it's one of the reasons we've been very successful in being an inclusive community. So you've got community departments, divisions of the city, such as the police department, the fire department, all the city departments. You've got the residents are coming together to celebrate that. And then we also do outreach. I will tell you that the police chief, myself, the city manager, we do outreach to our minority communities specifically to ensure that we have avenues of communication that are open, and if issues are coming up, we want to talk about them early rather than waiting for there to be a problem.
Great. Chief, we were talking and you mentioned that there is Middle Eastern law enforcement, and I'm part of the Bridge Committee, which is the organization in the community with federal agency. Tell me more about the Middle Eastern law enforcement, and they are only Farmington Hills or from the whole state of Michigan?
Well, I'm pleased to share with you that there's a new Middle Law Enforcement Officers Association representing Middle Eastern officers and promoting and helping us recruit candidates for law enforcement.
Great.
That's very, very important. They just held a very big conference in the Detroit area, and we had Middle Eastern law enforcement officer from Farmington Hills, represented at that conference. So I'm very excited about that. It's because it's very important that we try to reflect the community. It's very important for
Absolutely.
minority community members to have a sense of confidence in the department, to know that some of their own are serving.
Yeah. Mr. Mayor, finally, and I want to, you to talk to the community, and I'll give the chief the same opportunity. What you want from the Middle Eastern community? You mentioned they are part of the unique, the music of the Farmington House. But what do you want from them? How you want to reach them? What do you want him to come to your office to ask questions and all that?
Well, what I would ask is that and while we're talking specifically questions about the Middle Eastern community,
yes.
I extend that to every part of my community, and I would like people to come if they have issues, challenges, they have questions, to feel comfortable in asking those questions. And we want to create an environment in which our residents and the people who are visiting us feel comfortable, feel enabled and empowered to have success. I think I think our community has all of the facets for ensuring that success for those people who want to come here, particular entrepreneurial steps, if they want to come and work here and make their homes here and educate their kids here, I want to make sure that our city is ready, open, and willing to assist in those
And that's
processes.
including the business too.
And certainly embraces the businesses. So we're working hard to make sure that we're an inclusive community, and also realize that the community not everything is perfect, but we strive to be as perfect as we can, and the respect is there for all of our residents, not one particular group or one particular
Yes.
ethnicity. It is, if you're here in our community, you're going to be respected.
Great. Chief, as you know, the tension with the Middle Eastern community, September 11 coming, and what's happening with the election and all that, and talking. So could be some tension between the community at large and the Middle Eastern community. What do you want to say to the Middle Eastern community if that something happened like this? They should reach your department. They should tell me.
Well, we enjoy a very positive relationship with the Middle Eastern community. Tremendous support. We can always improve communication better about what can the Middle Eastern community do to support us. Come to our Neighborhood Watch citywide quarterly meetings. Come to tours for the police department. They're welcome, at any time. Take a look at our website, learn about the police department, some of the community outreach, that we do. Many times when we do even PowerPoint presentations, we show sections of all the ways we're outreaching to the community connection. So we want to have the confidence of the Middle Eastern community and a partnership, because when we build those bridges, then people report crimes, they report suspicious things.
Yes.
They call us in times of trouble, so we can, reassure them or work together to solve problems.
And if there is some tension or some discrimination, they should call you?
Yes. We take pride in visiting all the faith-based representatives of our community. We have outreaches to our mosques, to our churches, to our synagogues, and really make a full concerted effort to have outreach in our community. And we're very proud of our success. And one of the things I'm very proud of as chief, I mentioned before, the size of our community. We have not had one single complaint to the Michigan Department of Civil Rights regarding an arrest situation or a use of force situation against a Farmington Hills police officer. That's a remarkable record, and it speaks for itself for the work that we're doing with our diverse community that we enjoy serving.
Great. You know what? Go ahead.
And if
You
I
wanna
could just
Sure.
add,
Absolutely.
the chief touched on the outreach that's done, particularly to our faith-based communities and all of our residential
Right.
groups. But just, what was it, a month ago? I had the opportunity, the police department was invited to the community mosque to play in a volleyball game, and it was a 2-2, very well balanced outcome, but it was a wonderful opportunity for a number of our churches and synagogues and mosques to literally come together for a picnic and just enjoying each other's camaraderie. So the hats off to the police department and to the community for setting that up.
Great. Well, honestly, our business located in Farmington Hills, and we've been here for over 4 years, and I feel the comfortable, honestly. The business in the community, I feel the comfortable. When I go to restaurants in the community, I feel the comfortable. I feel the joy of people that talking to each other, and I see people from different background all coming together and comfortable. You don't see that in different cities, the comfortable you see in Farmington Hills. And that goes to you, Mr. Mayor, and to you, Mr. Chief of Police. We thank you very much for that. And again, I cannot say how much we appreciate the work that you do. And I encourage our people, not just the Middle Eastern, anyone, to join your forces, because what you do is noble, honestly. The police department and the fire department and protecting our life, and it's a noble. And we should thank you every day for that. So thank you again, Mr. Mayor,
you.
and the Chief of Police.
Honored to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Dear viewer, that was my interview with the Mayor of Farmington Hills, Mr. Ken Casey, and the Chief of Police of Farmington Hills, Chuck Nebus. Honestly, I go to a lot of events, and I see them in an event. And I want you, when you see them in an event, to go to them and thank them for the service that they do. And the police, especially the police department, they're doing a great job. Doing a great job. And every day, everywhere you see them, I want you to thank them, because this is their mission, is to protect us, protect our life, protect our property, and we should express that appreciation to them. Thank you for watching, and good night.